Hello everybody, it is Wednesday and that means it is time for an essential oil profile today. And today I wanted to start very basic with our essential oil profile and talk about the essential oil that I probably most often have used in my practice as well as in my home and with my family, and that is lavender essential oil. So lavender essential oil is probably one of the oldest oils in all of aromatherapy in terms of modern aromatherapy, and it was first discovered by perfumers in the modern age in France, and then those perfumers discovered that lavender essential oil actually had some medicinal properties to it. It had healing properties to it. And as people started to experiment with lavender essential oil as well as other aromatic compounds that were being distilled, they discovered that many of the aromatic compounds that we have actually do have those therapeutic benefits, and thus aromatherapy was born. So lavender is really kind of the beginning of modern aromatherapy, which is really cool. So lavender is distilled usually from the lavender buds of plants, although I do know that sometimes they use the plant material itself too. I don't know if you can see these beautiful little babies. These are lavender buds right here. So I love to have these on hand, and this is my first sort of pro tip for you, is that you don't just have to use lavender essential oil. You can actually make the buds into a really beautiful tea by steeping the buds in just having boiled water, then pour the hot water over your lavender buds like in some kind of a teaspoon, and then let that steep for 1 to 2 minutes. Don't go too long because it'll get bitter. Add a little bit of sweetener if you would like to, and this is a really calming tea that you can use. And what's really fun with herbs and essential oils, so this would be the herb form and this would be the essential oil form, is that when you're really wanting the extra help, you can stack the functions, or you can stack the different approaches. So along with drinking your lavender tea, you could be running a diffuser with some lavender essential oil drops in it in the space that you're in. When you're wanting to wind down at the end of the night, this would be especially helpful. If your nerves have been really raw, if you've been super stressed out, this would be really helpful. So lavender is traditionally known for being relaxing. It's nervine, so it calms the nerves down. A lot of people use it to help to deepen sleep as well. And anything that is a flower essential oil we would consider cooling. So this is also going to be really great for any kind of heating conditions, which this time of year is some of the hottest days of the summer. Our bodies are just overly hot. So any kind of flower essential oil, but lavender especially, is going to be a little bit of cooling for you, help you to feel less hot and bothered, if you will. So it's a wonderful tool for that. So lavender essential oil is widely available, but something to know about it is that it is also, because of the high demand, the most commonly adulterated essential oil, meaning that a lot of companies will put synthetic materials in there, or they will dilute it down with carrier oil and not put that on the label in order to stretch the raw product and increase their profit margins, which is really yucky and gross, because synthetics and adulterants can actually interfere with the ability of that essential oil to be therapeutic and in fact cause more problems for you, because synthetics are often made from petrochemicals and they are endocrine disruptors. So you may be grabbing your lavender essential oil maybe to help you with something like PMS, and instead you actually feel worse because that essential oil has a bunch of crap put in it. Another thing that you will find is that the essential oils that are adulterated are often going to be more sensitizing to the skin. So if you decide to apply lavender essential oil to your skin, and I would recommend doing that very most often in some kind of a carrier oil. It can literally be your cooking oil in your kitchen, like if you have some olive oil around, just pool a little bit of olive oil in your hand, 1 or 2 drops of lavender essential oil, rub it together, and then put it on the part of your body where you want to relax, we want to calm down. If you're having any kind of muscle cramping, really lavender is one of those aromatic compounds that's known in aromatherapy and herbalism as a universal medicine, just like ginger. So it's going to be beneficial for almost everyone to be using it in those types of situations where we need to calm down, we need to relax, we need to have better sleep and rest. If you're having just the situation where you can't calm down, lavender is a wonderful friend to have with you. Some other ways that you can use lavender is so easy. It doesn't have to be hard. You can simply breathe it from the bottle. So you're going to have the bottle with you and you're just going to waft it under your nose and breathe deeply. You're going to do that for about 20 seconds, and then you're going to give your olfactory bulb in your nose a rest because those receptors get full of the molecules of the smell. And then you'll go back to it a few minutes later and do it again as often as you feel is needed. You can also do what's called direct palm inhalation with something like lavender, which tends to be a safe essential oil that is not usually sensitizing for people. So you're going to take your palm, your essential oil bottle, 1 drop. If you can avoid actually touching your palm, that's good. Just, you know, tap the bottle if it'll work for you that way. Rub your palm together, and then just breathe deeply from your hands. This is a very, very safe way of administering it to yourself and not necessarily administering it to people around you that may not need that or actually may not be able to handle having the essential oil around, which is one of the reasons why I don't recommend doing diffusion, just mass diffusion in like a workplace or a clinic or a childcare facility, because people do react differently to this. So for instance, most people are going to experience lavender as being relaxing and calming. However, this is for people that don't have disrupted brain function of any kind. For individuals that have ADD, ADHD, or perhaps for elderly people with dementia, where the brain is not talking to itself the way that maybe it would most optimally be able to talk to itself, those individuals may actually find that lavender is stimulating to them. So this is especially something to be careful of with kids. If you know that your kid struggles with those challenges, obviously aromatherapy could potentially be a help to you, used very much in moderation and carefully. But don't just mass administer lavender to your kid expecting them to necessarily have the same result as everyone else, because they may actually find it stimulating. And I've talked to quite a few parents over the years where that is the case. So that's really interesting. So lavender, other uses for lavender, things you can do that are very safe with lavender. You can add lavender essential oil as well as lavender buds. This is kind of fun to put in a tea bag, some lavender buds, as well as a little bit of lavender essential oil in your bath water, and then you must use a dispersant. So your dispersant can be some oil, or you can add some bath salts. Either one of those is fine. And really in the bath, you don't have to use a lot at all. You're going to get the benefit with just, 3, maybe 4 drops is going to be plenty. And along with that and diffusion. So let's talk about diffusion. So diffusion is where we're going to use some kind of a diffuser. An ionic diffuser is what I most typically see people using. And you're going to put water in there and then some drops of whatever essential oil or grouping of essential oils that you would like to use. So let's say you're going to do lavender, and we're going to do it at the end of the day when we're winding down, we're getting ready for bed, we're trying to prepare our body for sleep. Always prepare your diffuser in relation to the size of your room. So just like in a large room, you would have to use a larger sound or a larger voice to be heard if you're speaking to a large crowd of people. If you are diffusing in a large space, it's okay to use more drops of the essential oil. So if you're in a really large space, you could use maybe 8 to 10. If you're in a smaller space, you're going to want to then exponentially put that down according to the size of your space. So if you're in a living room, maybe 4 to 5 drops. If you're in a bedroom and you're going to be in there for many hours at a time with the essential oil, you always want to take the safest route of application. So I say for adults, 2 to 3 drops is plenty. If you choose to diffuse in your child's bedroom, I would encourage you to look at the safety recommendations recommended by National Association for Holistic Aromatherapy, NAHA.org, about using essential oils with children. As a parent, you can make your own decision about that in conjunction with your aromatherapist and your doctor, obviously. If you choose to diffuse around your children, though, I would encourage you to do very judicious choices with the amount of drops that you use. So around kids, maybe 1 drop in the diffuser, and it's not necessary to do this every night. Maybe just on those full moon nights where they're not sleeping very well, right? And I really don't recommend diffusing essential oil around infants. So your option with infants would then be to do something like a hydrosol of lavender, which is widely available. I'm sure you can get it from Mountain Rose Herbs. So lavender hydrosol is the secondary byproduct of the distillation process, as we've talked about before. In distillation, we have essential oil and we have hydrosol that are created. The lavender hydrosol is already pre-diluted. It's going to be safe for almost everyone to use. And for a baby, what you could do is just 1 to 2 sprays, perhaps on their bed linens or on their crib, and just leave it at that. You don't need to use very much around an infant at all. Their bodies are very receptive and they're also very small, and they don't have the ability to process these compounds the same way that you or I would. So we need to be really careful with how we use essential oils and even hydrosols around the littlest ones. So that is lavender essential oil. I hope that that was informative for you. If you have any questions about lavender essential oil, go ahead and put them below. If you're interested in learning about sources of lavender oil, like where should I get my essential oils? So there's a lot of confusion around that, and I should actually do a whole video just on that subject. But tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, I'm actually going to be giving a presentation on the new essential oil line that just came out from Isogenics. And what is really amazing about this essential oil line is that it is very different than anything that is out there, in that it is third-party independent testing and it has a no compromise policy. So it can never be adulterated, it can never be diluted, it will always be the purest possible. And also it's just very simple and straightforward about how to use. So join me tomorrow night. I'm going to be putting a tile with the Zoom link that has the information on it. What you'll need to do is download the Zoom app onto your phone or your laptop, and then at meeting time you just type in that number and join us, and I would love to see you there. So have a beautiful Wednesday, and we will see you on Friday for something fun.